All right, cats. I'm on one. Yeah, just for the change, like. Right then. We are, as of the last 2 or 3, 4 weeks, being absolutely bombarded with precious metals market. Now, a few years ago, 4 years ago or so, I started taking interest in stocks and shares and precious metals and such. And no, I'm definitely not an expert, not in any way, shape, or form. But I do pay a lot of attention. I do listen. I spend a lot of time learning. And I've got a general idea of what's going on, what's not going on, what the value of things are, what the point of things are, what the point of things aren't. And I have come to this wonderful conclusion that the safest of bets is gold and silver. Now, immediately, even though I can't see you, I can feel the vibrations of you jumping up and down and screaming at me through the screen. But, hold on one moment. Fiat currency, in other words, dollars, pounds, the paper stuff, euros, whatever, it devalues. And it devalues to such an extent that we keep thinking everything's getting more and more expensive. No. Nothing's getting expensive. At the end of the day, if your potatoes have gone up this week from what they were 5 years ago, they've gone up for one reason and one reason only. The money you're using to buy your potatoes is losing its value. Things don't get more expensive. Well, generally, it is just the loss of the value of the fiat currency. Now, to try and explain that in a very short sentence or two, the value of the dollar, let's say, the American dollar, which most of the world trades in, but not all of the world like it was a few years ago, because now we have BRICS, but that's something else for another day. So all of the world does not trade in the dollar anymore, but it near enough used to. The value of the dollar has slid since 1913, just prior to the First World War. It has slid in value 95, well, correction, a slightly over now, 96%. Think about that for a minute. 110 years, it's not that long. There's people on this planet still alive at 110. Not many of them admitted, but there's a few knocking about like. In 110 years, the value of your $1 note has slipped 96.2, I think it is, percent. So basically, it buys you 4% of what it used to. The same dollar. Does that sound to you like things are going up in price, or does that sound to you like your dollar is starting to dissolve? And so people reach for the hard metals. Those hard metals they've been ignoring for years. The silver, the gold, platinum in some instances. And silver's done a jump. It's done a real big jump. Gold's done a big jump. Gold that I bought's more than doubled in price now, which is very nice. Thank you very much. But the silver, at one point last week, it was 4 times what I paid for it. I've got a bit of it. Not a mountain of it, but I've got a bit of it. That was very nice. And then it dropped. Oh, shock. And it dropped by 30% in one sitting, in one day. I don't particularly care, to be honest with you, because I'm still got, 3x what I paid for it, 2.5x, 3x what I paid for it, so I don't really care. But my point is, this is going to keep going. The silver, in my opinion, has got to keep going in price, because gold has been going up now for quite some time. We're definitely talking over a year, put it that way. And gold reached a shade over 5,000 or 5,006 was it or something, and dollars, and now it's back to 4,007 as of today, 2nd of February 2026. Somewhere around $4,700. That looks like it could be, not it is, But it could be a plateau, a point at which the price of gold starts to bounce around. It might even sideways chop for a bit. It could drop. As I say, I'm no expert. Could well drop. But it took a hard knock and it dropped down, what is it, $800 or something, $750, $800 in one sitting, which is a lot. It's a lot to drop. But it had gone up an awful long way. And people are calling it a reset. It's not a reset if it's artificially created, and it was artificially created. But for me to go into that now, you will immediately switch off and go and lie down in the dark room, because after I've spoke about it, I have to myself. It's not the simplest thing in the world to get your head around. But it's a contrived thing that's happened. But all I will say is, if gold has found its base at 4,007, in the normal world, well, let's say in a world that ran for 220 years, ending in about 1900, 1920, something like that. I'm not be honest, I'm not 100% about this. About 1900, 1920, somewhere in there. Gold had a relationship to silver. And silver and gold would be within 15 times of each other. So 15 ounces of silver would buy you 1 ounce of gold. That's how it worked. Yeah. Well, at the moment, in order for that to be correct, at the moment, as a rough guide, silver needs to be $300 an ounce. As I say, I'm not an expert. I just read the history of it. I read how it works. I read it back and to and front, round and round and round. I've listened to everybody and his dog. Now, things have changed since 1900 and whatever. And maybe it'll never be 15 times an ounce of silver will be an ounce of gold again. But within the last 40 years, I think 1980, it got to within 17 times. Now, at the moment, silver is $70 odd. So if we know our 7 times table, there's over 4 times, as in 177, 2 7s is 14, 3 7s is 21, 4 7s is 28. He's got him. So 280, still not 300, is it? 4 times, 4x is where it needs to be to get within 15 times of gold. It's just a thought. While everyone's panicking and selling, before you panic and sell, read a bit of history. Understand properly what's just gone on. Understand the way markets on both sides of the world in different time zones binned all their silver at the same time and panicked the market into essentially what was I wouldn't say a crash, but a whopper of a downturn. Something unprecedented, $30 odd in a day on silver. That's crazy. Because when I think back 3 years ago when I bought all my silver, I never paid $30 odd for it. And now it's dropping $30 odd in a day. Strange old world, isn't it? So while you're thinking about all that, pay attention to the fiat currency. Pay attention to the whole world is in that much debt it can't get out of it. And pay attention to your own bills. How have your bills gone through the roof? How have your wages gone up, but not a lot? And your bills are so astronomically colossal that you can't deal with them anymore. Or at least when they come through the door, you think, oh, Jesus, not again. Because we're all in that boat. You've got bills coming through the door that are now 3 times what they were only 5 years ago. Something's going wrong. Something's going wrong on a big scale. Now, don't think because you've never lived through it, there was a bit of a hesitation there, that it can't happen again. It can happen again, and it does happen. And if it happens this time, it could well be on a scale that hasn't been seen for 100 plus years, maybe even bigger than 1929, who knows. I just know that when I see things like the US of A in $36 trillion worth of debt, and a little farty country like the UK, we're in nearly $3 trillion worth of debt. How'd you get out of that? How'd you get out of that when you barely make enough money to pay the interest on the debt? What are you going to do? Study a bit about Greek Empire, study a bit about Roman Empire, see what made them fall, see why they collapsed, see what happened to their currencies, see how history is repeating itself. Just learn a bit. Get into it, get your head around it. It's worth doing. and take a look at your pension, because I took a look at mine and thought, 10 years ago, I would have been far better off taking my pension out 10 years ago than I am taking it out now, even though I contributed into it for another 10 years, because now it doesn't buy anything. It's just a load of bollocks. It doesn't buy anything. 10 years ago, I could have bought a small house with it. Now I can't even buy a small car with it. It's shit. It's crazy. Anyway, just a little bit there to get the old grey matter stirring in your mind when having a look at this silver. Pay attention to it. Do a bit of historical review. See what you think. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. My money's coming out of paper and it's going into metal, at least for the time being. Because even if it doesn't go through the roof and 4x, it's not going to turn into dust and blow away in the frigging breeze, so I need a wheelbarrow to go down the shops and buy a banana with all the money that I've got in my barrow. You know what I mean? I'm using 40 years of pension to go down the shops to do a week's shopping, because that's where it feels like it's going at the moment. It's mental. Assets. In times like this, you need assets. Doesn't matter what the assets are. It really doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Just make sure it's something that your money will be safe in. Yeah. Anyway, enough of that blurt. I am off ski. Good night and farewell. Something like that anyway. Create, stay sane.